This is Homeschool 101, a collaboration between ABS Television and the Ministry of Education. Stay attentive and attempt all activities. And now, today's lesson.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Homeschool 101. I am your presenter, Dacia Bailey. Today, we'll be zooming in on the topic, management of special events. Another exciting topic in family and resource management. So, as we continue, we're going to define our objectives. We'll be looking at terms related to event management, classify various types of special events, explain processes involved in planning of special events, develop a proposal for implementing a special event, and describe the roles and functions of the event team. So we all love to engage in planning. It may be a family activity, it may be a part of a club that you're in. So what is a special event, you may ask? Special events can be defined as a unique moment celebrated with a ceremony and/or tradition to satisfy a personal need. And they are generally hospitality or entertainment based. As we continue, what is event management? Event management is the process of analyzing, planning, marketing, producing, and evaluating an event. So as you manage a special event, you should have qualities in communication skills, marketing, money management, project management, legalities, negotiation skills, ability to multitask, social skills, and also you should be enthusiastic. When I say communication skills, you should be an effective communicator. You should be able to speak and also write. So it is very important when planning any event that you are able to communicate. What about marketing? What strategies are you going to use to market your event? Whether it is a gospel concert, whether it's a family function, you should be able, how are you going to sell it? And so you should be able to use your skills in marketing, money management. Are you efficient in spending money? Do you know what it entails to properly plan a budget to carry out your event? And as a project manager, you should be able to plan, coordinate, and execute your event. And legalities. When we look at the legalities, who do you need to write to in order to carry out an event? There are some events that you may have to write to the Commissioner of Police to get permission to host that event. So you need to know all the legalities that's associated with planning your event. And you should be a good negotiator. Venues are quite expensive. And so therefore you may want to bid down a little for the venue and other things about sponsorship. How are you going to negotiate in getting funding for your event? And you should be able to multitask. A good manager should be able to fill any gap that is needed when planning an event. Things can happen. And so therefore, as a manager, you should be able to multitask and fill the gap. Social skills. You're going to interact with persons. So you should be sociable. You should know how to respond or how to greet or how to just to ensure that those who are coming to your event feel at ease and they are comfortable and enthusiastic. You can't just walk around logy when you're in a leadership position when planning an event. You should be bubbly and ready to go. You should have that energy because your event team would get that energy from you and they would be enthusiastic about planning and continuation of that event. So we're going to be looking at different types of events. So as you can see here, there are a number of different events. So we're going to classify these events. Students, the first classification of events that we will be looking at is a corporate event. And these include annual meetings, sale meetings, new product launches, training meeting or workshops, management meetings, press meetings, and award ceremonies. So over the past few weeks, we have been having a series of press meetings locally and internationally to keep us up to date with the COVID-19. So this is just an image of a press meeting. As we continue, we have association meetings. Some of you are part of local groups, and even the adults are part of an association such as Rotaract. And they host monthly meetings or even yearly meetings or conventions. And some of these meetings are planned 2 to 5 years in advance, and some are destination-based, so it requires a lot of planning. Charity and fundraiser events. Normally a themed event. And so we have organizations here in Antigua and Barbuda, such as the Halo Foundation, who host charity events, the Lions Club, and we also have the Kiwanis Club. So they may have a gala, a tea party, or just a sporting event to raise funds for a charity of their choice. Social functions such as weddings, sweet 16 birthday parties or birthday parties in general, engagements, and any holiday activities. Fairs and festival. Our annual fair, agriculture fair, Payango Fest, we're all familiar with that, where mango meets pineapple, and the agro-processors are given the opportunity to put their skill set to test using that local product. Then we have other festivals such as carnival, music festivals, and these are to celebrate emancipation or just to celebrate your culture in general. Religious events such as Christmas, the birth of Christ, Easter, his death and resurrection, and you have New Year's going into a new year, okay? So we're going to move on. School events. And it's sad to say that our fifth formers this year may miss out, but graduation. Graduation is one of the biggest annual events for a school, or the anniversary service, okay? And we move on to a national event, independence. Independence, when we think of independence, we think of the food fair, the parade, youth rally, and we get excited because they're looking for the wonderful display by the children. And so these are events that we are engaged in annually. Concerts, such as gospel concert, there may be planned fundraisers. We have reggae concerts, jazz concerts if you're into music, Broadway shows, and we also had theatrical plays such as the Police Play, one of the most popular plays in Antigua and Barbuda, and you get your belly full of laughter. Births and church-related events, marriages, baptism, confirmation, anniversaries. So these are things that occur in your church. Mega sporting events, the Olympics, and due to the COVID, it's been canceled this year, as you're aware. Cricket, football, and those of you who love going to the football games on a Sunday or even the midweek, I know you're missing it because you're rooting for Liberty Blackhawks to win. And so, you know, you're feeling a little down that they're unable to complete the games. Sailing, our annual sailing week, the Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge, one that you just row across the Atlantic from La Gomera to Antigua. That is a major event presently. You have golf and volleyball. So when you think about event planning, it takes a process. You have to do some research. What is it that you want to put out there. And you're going to be looking at some 5 W's later on. The design. Your creative juices now are coming into play. Your decor, your menu, the venue. You have a vision of what you want it to look like. So planning involves looking at your budget. You're putting your plans into details. So you're going to do final arrangements for your budget, for your venue. You're going to be looking at the details of your budget. You're going to have an estimate of what it costs. You're going to be looking at different vendors who can sponsor your event. You will also be looking at the timing of the event and your menu. In coordinating now, you are going to execute that event. And at the end of it, you're going to evaluate what went wrong, where could I have improved. And so therefore, it is very important. This process of research, design, planning, coordinating, and evaluating is essential in events planning. So this is the 5 W's that I've spoken about. Why? Why should an event be held? Let's say you want to plan a family reunion. Why do you want a family reunion? You may have family members living overseas who you haven't seen for years. So you want to create that bond. They may not know each other. So hence the reason why you're planning the family reunion. Who should host? Is it going to be a destination reunion or is it going to be local? So that's a determining factor. Where should it be? Is it at a park? Is it in an auditorium? Where? How many days? So you have to consider all these things. What is the focus of the event? Maybe grandma is turning 100. So you're all excited. You're celebrating her. Okay? And what is the outcome? So what are your objectives? Did you meet your objectives? Bonding, meet and greet, celebrating grandma's 100th year on the land of the living. So at the end of it, you have to see if you have achieved your outcome. As we continue looking at planning, so events planning is the process of organizing and coordinating the event. There are numerous elements that should be considered in developing an event. And they include, so these elements that we're looking at, these are things that you're going to learn how to prepare a proposal. And these are some of the things that are going to be in your proposal. So when you're finished with this, you're able now to execute your own event. And you can ask mommy to give you the challenge so you'll know how to better write a proposal to help you as a guide to plan your event. So you're going to be looking at the purpose of the event or defining the objectives, the theme of the event, and then you're going to be determining the venue, timing, and audience, including special guests. Who are the special guests? There are some events that you may have dignitaries, and when you have dignitaries, they're seated at particular seats at your event. So hence, let's say you may have an event and you're inviting government officials. You'll have to now correspond with the protocol committee to know where those dignitaries should sit. And we continue. So you're going to have to develop the organized team and role and description. You have to be specific. You can't just give me a task and say, you need to plan the menu. What am I planning a menu for? How many persons? So there are a lot of questions, so you need to be specific with the description of the roles of each member. Formulating a budget. What is involved in the budget? So you may have the income, whether it's from ticket sales, whether it's from vendors or sponsors. Then you may have other logistics, When you're coordinating the other logistics, planning, setting up of the tents, the decor, etc. What are your available resources? And we know in management, we have human and non-human resources. What are the resources? You have the skill sets that you're going to need. But also you need the non-human resources such as fuel, money, tents, etc. to carry out your events. Assessment and follow-up. So at the end of it, you must do an assessment. And when you think of the management processes, you have the 5 management processes, and the acronym, students, remember POICE, P-O-I-C-E. Planning, organizing, implementing, controlling, and evaluating. So evaluation is very important in anything that you do. So here we have a proposal. And so we're going to be looking at the fundamentals of the proposal. So first thing we have the purpose of the event. The purpose of the event should drive all the planning. It should drive all the planning, okay? For example, if you're running a floral trade show for florists, you could have 2 objectives, or you could have 3, or you could have 1. In this case, we're going to be looking at 2 different objectives here. So the first objective we have is to facilitate the exchange of information and bringing attendees up to date with the latest changes in floral design and products. And the second objective, to achieve a memorable out-of-body experience for the florist. So you have 2 objectives here that we'll be looking at. Secondly, your budget and its sources. So when you think of your budget, you think of expenses such as invitations, marketing or promotion, food and drinks, layout, decor for the venue. And there are others. These are just a few examples of items that will come under your expenditure of your budget. And then, as I said previously, with your income, you will have sales and you will have sponsors. Then your invitation. What are you looking at? Is it a formal invitation? Is it an informal invitation? What design are you looking at? If you're planning a floral trade show, your invitation should speak to that. So you're going to be looking for designs that's related to flowers or garden setting, etc. Then you have a schedule. So you have the dates, then you have meetings leading up to the event. So you can't just say, I'm hosting an event and do not have regular meetings with your team members or sponsors. So you should have meetings and you schedule tentative dates for those meetings. Target audience. Who are your target audience? Are you going to target professional florists to come out so they can build on their skill set? Is there a particular age or gender that you'll be looking at? And remember, there are some events also that are adult-based. Children are not allowed. So we have to be clear when we're selling or when we are promoting our event. Then we have the venue. Think about the equipment, lighting, stage, etc. So you have seating, table. Is it a formal setting? Is it a round table? Is it a conference room setting that we're looking at? So all that will determine the presentation of the conference. Then at the end of it, evaluation, reasonable adjustments, and how to improve. In everything that we do, we can evaluate. Don't be hard on yourself because you're learning. But however, where can we improve? What reasonable adjustments can be made? So this is what takes place in evaluation. And here is a sample proposal for a tea party. This proposal was done by students of the All Saints Secondary School a few years ago. And they hosted a tea party, but the date was tweaked here, Purple Royalty Tea on the Lawn. And they had a tea party on the school grounds. And I just changed the date, so I have the 9th of June here. Then we have the event organizers. Who are the organizers of the events? The Family Resource Management class of the All Saints Secondary School. The purpose of the event. The tea party aims to showcase students' practical skills in planning and executing an event, and also to purchase a scan and cut machine for the home economics department. So that's the purpose. They have 2 objectives here. Then as we move on, we're going to be looking at event planning details. Your proposed number of guests. So remember, any event that you're hosting, you have to know how many guests that you can manage. You don't want to invite 100 persons and you cannot feed or you cannot entertain or keep abreast of what's going on with your 100 guests. So your number of guests was 40. Target audience, the ministry officials, teachers, and parents were invited. Entertainment. So some nice steel pan music to keep them alert. You had trivia questions, solo items, and they were well fed. As we continue looking at the proposal, we have the venue. And the venue was the All Saints Secondary School quadrangle. And it's in an open area under a tent. Okay, and it includes, when you're doing the venue, include details of the venue. It's in an open area, it's breezy, it's nice. You won't be feeling hot. It will be well decorated. Okay, so you're going to sell the venue. Your venue speaks a lot about the event. Estimated budget, $1,500. And again, the categories, you have your income, ticket sales, and contributions from sponsors. Then you have the expenditure, food and rental of tents. Those are just examples. Marketing. So you have both printed and electronic media. So you may have your ticket, you can use your social media to market your event. Okay? And also, the actual physical tickets, you can have flyers, etc. So those are means of marketing. And we are winding down. So any event, you have a management team. And you have the event manager, the finance manager, marketing or sales representative, entertainment, and planning or production. So you have planning and production, entertainment, marketing and sales. So all these individuals here, they report to the finance manager. The finance manager now in return reports to the event manager. So therefore, they don't make decisions on their own. Anything that you're doing, you have somebody who's in charge, you report to them, you dialogue with them. So in the event that anything goes wrong, you can go to plan B. So that's the events team. Roles and responsibilities. What are the roles and responsibilities of the event team? So you have the manager. The manager's responsibility is to ensure the following are carried out. Respectable treatment of guests and attendees. So when you go to an event, you want to be treated with respect. Then you have dress code and deportment are in accordance with the event stipulation. So you can't want to go to a formal event and wear a jeans and a t-shirt. That's a no-no. You are going to dress elegantly, sophisticated. And when you step out, ladies and gents, you're stepping out. So you are representing. And layout and decor of the venue, the manager is responsible for that. And in addition, you have security of attendees and the venue. You should feel safe. You don't want to go somewhere and you do not feel safe. So manager should ensure that there's security, and not only for the individuals who are attending, but also for the venue. What about the staff? They should be courteous at all times. You don't want to feel disrespected. You should be polite. Should be tolerant of the behavior of the guests. But when I'm saying this, even though that you're being tolerant, that doesn't mean that if the guest is overboard, you should report that to the event manager. And the event manager in turn now will deal with the behavior of the guests. They can either ask the guests just to take a break, take them inside, relax, or ask them to leave. But you have to make sure you follow protocols. Pays attention to his or her responsibilities. So you should be very alert. In the event that something is going wrong, you are able to pick it up 1, 2, 3. So as we come to an end, we're going to be looking at the guests. What's your responsibility as the guest? Dress appropriately. Observe the need to be punctual. If you are attending an event, you can't be 15, 20, half an hour late. You should be at least 15 minutes early. Be punctual, just like you have to be punctual for school. You have to be punctual for work. So you should be punctual. Compliments the host. If you had a good time, like you let them know, well-planned event, I had an awesome time, can't wait for your next event. You let them know that you are thankful for what you have experienced. And leaves at a reasonable time. Sometimes you have guests who don't want to leave. You have a party, and your day at the party is coming to a close, and they don't want to leave. And it's rude of you to ask them to leave. So as the guest, you should know that you have to leave at a reasonable time. And finally, the host. You greet the guests. You meet them, you welcome them, let them feel welcome from the start. Mingles with the guests. And you should be accommodating. There's some guests you don't know, but they may have an allergic reaction to some sort of food. So hence, you're like, okay, I'll make some provisions. I'm so sorry. You apologize nicely, and then you make provisions for your guests. You should be accommodating. And be polite at all times. Be polite at all times. So this is the end of the presentation, but what we're going to do now, we're just going to be looking at some tips in answering multiple choice, and then we're going to go into some multiple choice questions. So I hope that you're ready and you have been listening. So 4 simple tips. There's so many more, but I'm just giving you 4. You're going to read each question carefully and thoroughly. Before answering, look at all the answer choices. So you're going to examine the answer choices and you're going to select the best or the most appropriate answer or response. When you're unsure of any answer, try to eliminate as many responses as possible. Those responses that does not relate to the question. And if it's a timed event, you're going to pace yourself. You're going to pace yourself. And I'm telling you, you can do it. You can definitely do it. So our first question, I have my little bell here. We have 5 seconds. And you're just going to hear this sound when your 5 seconds is up. And then I will show you the answer. So your first question, and I hope that you're reading with me, which is not a responsibility of an events manager. Again, which is not a responsibility of an events manager. Is it A, choosing a theme for an event? B, organize the logistics of the event? C, select a suitable menu? Or D, schedule regular meetings with stakeholders? Which is not a responsibility of an events manager? So remember, you have 5 seconds. I'll be counting in my head. And so when you hear the bell, your 5 seconds is up. Okay, time is up. Did you select C, a suitable menu? And if you did, you are correct. Question 2. From an event organizer's perspective, a special event is an event that A, is the most popular with stakeholders, B, occurs outside the normal program or activities of the organizing body, C, requires the most resources to run, or D, attracts the most publicity. So I'm counting to 5. So did you select B? Occurs outside the normal program or activities of the organizers. Remember, go through each option and you're going to eliminate the ones that does not suit your question. Next question. When classifying events by form or content, which of the following is not a category? A, business events. B, sporting events or sports events. C, festivals. And D, sailing. Which is not a category? So when you look at this question, we are looking at the categories because we have classified our events previously. So which one are you looking at? They have business events. We looked at sport events. We looked at festivals. So, did you select D, sailing? Sailing is an example of a sporting event. So, it is not a category by itself. It is an example. Next question. From a customer or guest point of view, a special event is an event that costs more money than normal day-to-day activities, is the most popular event in the calendar. C, provides an experience beyond everyday activities. Or D, all of the above. Counting to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you select C? Provides an experience beyond the everyday activities, and if you did, you are so correct. Dash is the second stage in the event planning process. Who can recall the flow chart that we had? Is it A, planning, B, research, C, design, or D, evaluation? Let's see. C, design. What is the first process? You have to do your research, okay? Inspiring the event team is a good reflection of Dash skills. And we are management students. I am a management teacher, so you should have what skills? A, negotiation skills, leadership, project management, or budgeting. Reflection of what? Leadership skills. Next question, and we're going good so far. I know that you're getting all correct. Very good. An event's organizational team should be firm as to provide certainty and suitability to the organizational process. B, be able to adapt to the evolving needs of the event. C, demonstrate quick and efficient leadership role. Or D, all of the above. An event's organizational team should Did you select all of the above? Excellent. Give yourselves a clap. Next question. The following are headings that should be included when writing a proposal, except. And you're going to pay keen attention to this word, because sometimes they throw you off. The distractors. Except. So A, purpose of the event, venue, budget, and target audience. B, objective, marketing strategies, location of the last event, target audience. Is it C, the event program, funding, or venue? Is it D, the proposed event budget, target audience, or invitation? Which one do you think it is? Time's up. So let's see. B, objective, marketing strategies, location of the last event. So this is the odd man out, except. So let's move on. A budget is a key element in planning a special event. Dash and dash are two aspects that should be included in a budget. A, income and expenditure, contributions and income, expenses and marketing, or income and sales. Let's look at it again. Is it income and expenditure, contributions and income, expenses and marketing, or is it income and sales? Time is up. And income, it's A, income and expenditure. Next question. KMC Promotion is hosting a charity event in June. They are uncertain of what marketing strategies to use. The following medias can be used except, again, another distractor. A, social media. B, paid radio advertisement. C, print media. D, awareness. The following medias can be used except. Time's up. Awareness. So social media is one form in which you can advertise, okay? And electronic media, print media, etc. So I want to thank you, my viewing audience, for listening. And I do hope that you have learned something from this presentation. I wish you the very best.
You've been watching Homeschool 101, a partnership between ABS Television and the Ministry of Education. Thank you for viewing this lesson. Join us again next time.